5 different types of constantly biases today. There are definitely more different types, but we're just going to talk about 5 today. One of them is going to be the four effect. And so the four effect is really just something that you hear or read about that just can't be true. That no way, that just doesn't happen. There could be extreme ones and not so extreme ones. An example for a not so extreme one would be that your great Aunt Betty was caught shoplifting. And there's just no way that great Aunt Betty can be shoplifting because that's just not her. That's just not who she is. And then there's a more extreme one would be aliens. They definitely always talk about different aliens and how aliens are real. And to a lot of people, they're not. A lot of people, they're just made up because there's just no way aliens can exist. That's just too out of the world, too crazy. That is a bit another example of a little bit more of a extreme four effect method. Another bias is going to be similar bias. This one is a really common one just because it's part of our human nature. Similarity bias is when you favor something, so an article or a book or maybe a clothing line, you favor something that seems similar to you or relatable to you. And this happens a lot unconsciously or consciously. You might, if you read an article on Facebook or online that just hits home for you, that like, yes, this is exactly what I'm dealing with my life, you do hit, that is definitely similar bias. One example was that if you read a book about great parenting and parenting styles and what to do if you're a new parent, and for the feeding section, and if all it talks to you about is breastfeeding and you would like to breastfeed, then that's a great book for you, and you are going to favor that book because it's similar to you and it talks about what you want to be talked about. But if you weren't going to breastfeed, then it really wouldn't be that similar or relatable to you, so you really wouldn't favor it. Similarity bias is also something that if we believe that we're similar to it, then we will give it more praise and think it's better than it really actually is. The next one called is going to be the backfire effect. The backfire effect is where somebody challenges our beliefs, and instead of them changing it with us, we actually hold on to our biases even more and our beliefs even harder, and we stand up stronger for them. A good example for that would be an apple and a pear. Let's say you believe an apple is the best fruit in the world, and that's just your belief, and that's how you've always been, and you're not going to change. But let's say your friend comes along and says the pear is better, and then you're like, oh, no way, that can't be true, an apple is the best. Well, that friend that wants the pear, they're going to try to talk to you civilized and say, hey, this is why the pear is better. And they think that they're going to change your mind. And then, which means that you need to explain to them why the apple is better. And when you explain to them why the apple is better, you actually realize that your belief is going to be stronger because you realize, hey, yeah, this is why it's better, and I'm not changing at all. The next one is going to be the Dunning-Kruger effect. That is where we read an article or just on Facebook, on social media, on really anything, a computer or book or anything, and we read a small portion of it, even on our phones, we read a small portion of it and we think that we just know everything about it, and we think that we're experts now about it. And this happens a lot in politics, where you read one side of the bill, like the good effects of the bill, and yeah, that bill should be signed because it's going to have a lot of reward, but yet you haven't read the opposite side. And one great example to how to stop this type of bias is playing the devil's advocate, so you can get both sides of the article. And then the last one is going to be the confirmation bias. So that basically means that you go to look up something or research something just to prove that you were right, and then you find that you were right and you get very excited, but then sometimes you neglect the fact that there's other facts inside that article and that you're not always right. And then this is definitely something to be wary of as any type of student writing essays or anything like that, because this happens a lot when you find out, oh, I want to go research this more because I'm only stand on this side of it, then you are automatically biased, and you're not really researching for information, although you're just basically researching for your own confirmation, really. And so because of that, it's not really reliable because you're ignoring the other side.